Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. Hope you're enjoying your week so far. Hopefully most of y'all have the day off. But this is going to be a video going over all the overnight and morning guidance of this potential winter storm that could impact areas of the southeast, areas of the deep south, mid-Atlantic, and northeast. As we're getting to just in a few days, in a couple days, we'll really probably know what's going on with this storm. This is a potential to start as early as Thursday night into Friday into Saturday, maybe another system Sunday into Monday. So much to talk about, but we're going to double up the videos throughout the week. But in the mornings, we're just going to stick by looking at model guidance. And then in the evenings, we'll look at the latest model guidance, but we'll go a little bit more in depth with what's going on, how the energy needs to phase, how it needs to come together, and really what's the makings of these winter storms. So if you guys have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button for me. Like the video if you like it. That goes so far for me, and y'all have created so much growth for me. There's a way to hit me up on Twitter, Facebook. I stay very active on there, especially when there's active weather going on like there's about to be this week. It's a great way to stay up to date with hourly updates, so definitely hit me up on there. I even got a TikTok. I do little small videos on this stuff. So thank y'all for the amazing support. Let's get going here. First off, we'll talk about this because this is the huge ingredient, right? Obviously, you need moisture, and you need cold air, and you need a lot of other things, too, to work out for winter weather in the south and even areas in the mid-Atlantic. We're getting into the coldest time of the year. So as we're getting into, this is Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to try to get better with telling you what days it is. Sometimes I start talking 100 miles an hour, and I forget to tell y'all kind of what day we're at. So I'll try to get better with that. But if you're not following along with me, very well, if I'm confusing you. If I'm, for example, showing this graphic, this says TUE, which stands for Tuesday, and 18Z, which is normally for afternoon, early afternoon. When you get into, for example, Wednesday, OOZ, that's still Tuesday evening. I know that's confusing. I'm not going to get super deep into that, but just that's your day kind of time frame right here. We're getting into Wednesday morning. This deep Arctic air is starting to funnel in here. And granted, before this Arctic air comes, it's not going to be that warm unless you're in areas of the western deep south like Texas. But this Arctic air moves through. And when I tell you this is the coldest air of the season, I mean it, guys. I mean, this is Thursday afternoon. It looks like the Arctic cold front moves in through areas of the mid-south and, well, I would say more so the southeast and then the mid-Atlantic. Temperatures might drop during the day. This is going to be the tone setter Thursday for a winter storm that's looking likely for someone. But what falls is the huge question. This is Friday evening, and by then there might be wintry precipitation all across these areas in the southeast. I'm not talking about just North Carolina, Virginia, North Georgia, the upstate of South Carolina, Tennessee, northern Alabama, Mississippi. I'm talking about areas further south, even where I live. I'm starting to get kind of concerned. I'm concerned because this might be a raging ice storm. It might be a pure snowstorm. I'm not going to get caught up on my location locally, but it's the signals are about as clear as day, and nothing went away overnight. But this Arctic air continues to settle in and really set the tone over the next several days after Thursday for winter weather across the eastern U.S., and especially a favorable pattern for areas of the south. And this is going to lock up the country and freeze it up for the foreseeable future. Let's look at we're going to look at the European, we're going to look at the GFS, and we're going to look at the Canadian model. I think those are three really good models to look at this range. As we're going through in time, we're getting into Wednesday, we're getting into Thursday. The Arctic air is dropping down. What happens here is you're getting moisture out the Gulf that's overrunning over this Arctic air. And this system for, I would say, what is it, Wednesday evening into Thursday, is starting to look a little bit more robust for areas of maybe Tennessee, maybe Kentucky. This will be more so a rain going to snow kind of event as the Arctic front kind of is still chugging along. This is not going to be an Arctic front that gets hung up into areas of the west and Texas and things like that, kind of like the Arctic front got in mid-February of last year. This is chugging towards the southeast, and I mean, we're inside 100 hours. There's no way you're going to avoid this. The cold air push is coming. This is coming here, and you got overrunning occurring, and then maybe a little surprise event based off the Euro for areas of North Carolina, that little teaser event. But this keeps going, and the Arctic front is still sagging, and it begins to stall out way down here. And as we're getting into Friday during the day, all this pink is showing up, and look how far south is showing up, all the way to Wilmington, all the way to Myrtle Beach, well past Orangeburg, getting close to Charleston. And you keep this frame going up, it just turns into a raging ice storm. So let's go on and get a little bit closer, because I know that's even hard for my eyes to look at. We're going through here. Here comes the Arctic front. You see that 32-degree line just sagging south. We're getting into Friday morning. This is valid for Friday morning. Look at this. You even got freezing rain showing up in southern Louisiana as the Arctic air is really funneled in. But overrunning, going over this Arctic air, sometimes Arctic air can be very shallow, which means you still got a lot of warm air on top, but it's very cold at the bottom, maybe in the 20s kind of cold. But the pink is freezing rain. You got snow on top of this. You got a little thin line of sleet, just like the event that happened. I'm not saying this event's going to be like that. This has all the makings, if it comes together right, for an I-20 special for a major winter storm. Now, special as in all-out snow, it still looks good for that. But it might not be. But I think I-20, this is going to be a big storm for you guys. I could be completely wrong, but I really think you're going to hear a lot of people talk about this as we get into the evening tonight. I'm talking about like local weather and stuff like that, not just your Weather Channel app. You're going to start to hear your locals talk about this if you're in maybe in Alabama, the Carolinas, and Georgia, and then obviously points north. But look at this little stripe of snow in Louisiana. We get into the next frame. This takes us into Friday evening. This is a raging ice storm for areas of the Carolinas and Georgia. This is getting all the way into central Georgia. Freezing rain lines all the way into Charleston, Myrtle Beach, and then it's pouring snow in the upstate. But this isn't going to be like the last system. This is, if I know I'm talking with a lot of confidence here, but I just really, really think this setup is for something major for areas much further south. Now, if you're listening in, you're in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, hold on, we'll talk about you guys too. But this begins to pivot through. Cold air continues to funnel through. Maybe the areas that got a raging ice storm, according to the Euro, switches the all snow to cap it off. And snow is showing as far south as almost the Georgia-Florida line down here as this pivots on through. We'll go a little bit further north up into the Mid-Atlantic as we're wrapping through here. Here comes that ice, and this turns into a big-time snowstorm for portions, and this is getting into Saturday morning. Portions of the maybe southeast Virginia that missed and got all rain in the past event. We get into Saturday evening, still snowing for all the Delmarva area, all snow for New Jersey, New York City. This looks like a big event. You keep going up the coastline, and this would be a nice event for you guys in the southern New England area. If you're looking at the European as if it's going to happen, this could turn to a nor'easter. It really could. Depends on how much it trends northwest. This is what I'm worried about. Now, not every model shows this, and tonight we're really going to get into showing accumulations based off the models. I really want this other system to get out of the way because it's messing up with the maps a little bit because it's still showing snowfall accumulations for the storm that's moving through right now. But this is scary. Ignore this for you folks in Washington, D.C. and the Maryland, Virginia area. This is for the storm ongoing now. Look at all the ice that's depicted. Now, you probably can take a little bit of these totals off, but not much. And you know why? It's because it's going to be freezing raining in these areas in the 20s in some cases. So it don't matter how hard it's raining so as much. Everything's freezing. This is what I would say a catastrophic ice storm if it was to happen. Areas in the upstate of South Carolina got a 1/4 inch to some areas, a 1/30th of an inch. And you should have saw the trees on I-77 yesterday as I was driving south. I mean, they were sagging, and there was a lot of smaller pine trees that were down. Now, let's look at the GFS. What does the GFS show, guys? So let's check this out. We'll get through that system right here. We move that out of the way, and we're getting into Wednesday evening. This is Wednesday evening. Here comes that Arctic air pushing southeast. You got overrunning, a low pressure rides through. This will be all rain for areas in the southeast. But watch out for areas of Kentucky, maybe the southern Ohio Valley. And Tennessee might be a rain change into snow kind of event as Arctic air pulls through. So I'm saying this to say, I say that to say this. If you guys miss in Tennessee with this storm, there's hope with this system here in the next 48 to 72 hours with the Arctic front that moves through. And sometimes you guys west of the Appalachian Mountains look out with these systems. East, not so much. But the GFS is giving you all a bone. And I want to mention this is the OOZ GFS. So this is the overnight GFS. I'm going to show you the 06Z here in a second. Here it comes. And I've been mentioning this. There's two systems, right? There's two systems. And they're trying to fight over which system is the dominant system. Is it going to be the Friday system or the late weekend system? Okay, I seem like I just said system about 100 times in about 30 seconds. But here we go. we're getting into Friday during the day. You got light to moderate snow breaking out over the Carolinas, and this is showing a snowstorm in certain areas that were showing a raging ice storm. So models are disagreeing, but models are agreeing a little bit more maybe that they like the first system over the second. And you get through here, the Arctic air continues to funnel in, then you got snow as far south as coastal areas of South Carolina, North Carolina, and then a nice southern snowstorm for areas of I-20 points south. And that's what we're all pulling for, right? Nobody wants ice, but this moves through, not as amplified as a system. The more amplified this system gets, the more ice and sleet you're going to see mixed in, the more precipitation you're going to have. But the more warm air gets kind of wrapped up into this aloft, and there's definitely going to be some kind of warm nose. The more or less amped it is, maybe it won't be as significant as the system precipitation-wise, but the more I think the more I think snow will be further south. Now, the latest GFS, the OOZ GFS does not have the second system, but it does have a system coming late next week. This was 9 to 10 days out that has that look to it also with cold air around. So we'll get the latest 06Z run. This is the latest run, the run that came out a couple hours ago. Arctic air dropping down. This system right here is starting to look like a nice little system for the Mid-South and maybe southern areas of the Ohio Valley. I'm talking about Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe West Virginia. Watch this. And even watch the areas of Southeast Virginia with this as the cold air is pulling through and maybe it tries to pop off a low pressure there. Now, this is all it's showing for the first system for the GFS. That's it. It shows snow for a lot of areas that don't see snow. The coastal areas, the Carolinas, as the low pressure kind of pops up here and the cold air really kind of suppresses this system. Wintry mix as far south as maybe Somerville, Charleston area, but that's it. And then turns into all nice snow. There'll be a nice snow for areas of coastal areas of certain areas of South Carolina, and then maybe areas of all of the coastal areas of North Carolina, including the Outer Banks. That pulls through, and now the latest GFS wants that second system for Saturday night into Sunday. This would bring a major, probably a significant wintry weather event for Atlanta. For central Georgia, a raging ice storm. This would be a pretty decent event, but a lot of ice for areas of South Carolina, but it's still kind of suppressed. But yeah, Arctic air around, wintry mess very far south. So the GFS doesn't really show much love at all to the Mid-Atlantic much in the Northeast. It's really suppressed. The cold air comes through, suppresses the system. Now, this was supposed to be earlier, my bad, guys. So now we'll switch to the Canadian. Canadian model shows a nice, robust system. This is the cold air coming down, low pressure riding along that Arctic boundary as the jet really dips here, and then that moves through. And I tell you, I like the Canadian model because I'm telling you, the Arctic air is going to come down all the way to the Gulf Coast, and then you have sleet and freezing rain as far south as the southern tip of Mississippi, getting close to Baton Rouge, New Orleans, southern Alabama. And this is what a classic overrunning event looks like when you have Arctic air and then basically a low pressure that moves through. And then you get to the next frame, which is Friday evening. You just get an all-out winter storm for areas of Georgia and the Carolinas, and then it's getting into areas of Virginia. This would be probably a wintry mix along I-20. But then going to snow, this will be all snow for areas further north in North Carolina, unless you're in southeast North Carolina. And then it lingers around. It's a long event, maybe a 24-hour event. And at the very end, you get wintry weather as far south as deep in the southeast areas of Georgia, the coastal areas of the Carolinas, and the Delmarva area. You get a nice band of snow, and then that moves through. And then it doesn't really show much for a second system, but it does have another system riding up in the same time frame the GFS does. So I'll say all this to say this, and I'll wrap it up. And we'll see how the during the day models go and the evening runs go. I'll just show you the GFS ensemble. There's a solid signal for wintry precipitation. That's all we can really say. And there's a solid signal even for the areas further south into Louisiana, maybe even Texas. But in the Carolinas, this has the makings of a significant winter weather event. It really does. But that's all I got, guys. Stay tuned. I'll have you another update this evening. Follow me on my social media platforms. I stay very active. And God bless all y'all.